This is the Professional Services Committee meeting for April 20th, 2023. Ms. Prater?
Good afternoon. Representative Emily Kincaid,
Here.
Dr. Shana Barb Gilliam,
Present.
Ms. Sylvia Wilson.
Here. All right, thank you. Today, we do have two informational items. One is a request for qualifications for the primary sedimentation tanks and a request for qualifications for underground utility locating services. And I'll call Williams and move forward on these two items.
Madam Chair, we have to allow the influent into the plant. And the primary tanks are integral to that process. It's time for additional tankage. You have, during your time on the board, you have seen us expand that area. This is the next step. Our Director of Engineering and Construction, Kim Kennedy, will give you more detail.
Thank you, Arletta. So this is actually, if you can believe it, the last final design package of the entire wet weather plant expansion. So this is the end of the 5-year sort of progressive design, and then moving on to construction of the wet weather plant expansion. We have to build 2 new primary sed tanks that look similar and act similarly to the existing primary sed tanks in order to get up to the capacity of 600 million gallons per day for treatment. So we're looking to issue the RFQ in May. And then we would bring a shortlist recommendation back to the Professional Services Committee in July. And then put together a proposal, and we would expect to award the design of this project in the fall. So this is pretty exciting. It wraps it up, the many decades in planning.
Okay. And as you said, Ms. Williams, I have been on the board to see new tanks put in, and I was pretty amazed at how the new tanks were placed when there's hardly any land there. And that's the thing, because there's a little bit is more incredible this time, knowing that there's very little space and what has to be done to build up the area so that these 2 new tanks can be placed. It's pretty amazing. I'll tell you, the work at ALCOSAN is pretty tremendous. Let me know if you lose me, because it's saying that my internet connection is weak. So let me know if I'm gone. I'll call in on my phone.
While you're here, if you could call for the next agenda item, that would be great.
Okay. Are we, I know she talked about the tanks. What about the underground utility locating services?
Yes, ma'am. That's the next item. So, as you have aptly identified, this is for location of underground utilities. We currently have a contract in place. We need a new contract. You will have an additional agenda item extending the current contract. And while it sounds simple and fairly straightforward, we're going to have the Director of Regional Conveyance talk about what this service provides for and what it really means. Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Arletta, Madam Chair. We're required by state law to mark our utilities and correspond with the PA One Call Act. And we're, as Arletta stated, we're in our 3rd year of contract services with T2. Each year we receive about 3,000 one-call tickets. These come in from contractors, developers, other utilities doing work, and we have to respond to them usually within 48 hours. So we need an entity to respond and clear these tickets. Some of these require marking in the field, about 10% of the 3,000 or 300. require marking, during the year. So we're in our final year of contract services, and we need a new we need to begin a new procurement process for bringing on a new entity or sticking with the same entity, just to keep things moving along. So that's all.
Okay. Do we have any questions from our committee members on this?
None for me.
Okay.
Seems
All right,
straightforward.
thank you. All right, thanks. All right, we're going to move on now into the action items. Item A is a motion to recommend the following short list for construction management services for contract 1763, which regards the access shaft near A40 and the M49 interceptor junction. Ms. Williams?
Madam Chair, because the agenda is as lengthy as it is, and these next 4 items are short lists that are being recommended, I'm going to ask you for these next 3, A, B, and C, called directly on Mike. Mike, it's going to be your show for a little bit here, buddy.
Okay.
Begin.
All right. Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair. The first project is to construct 2 access shafts on the interceptor system to conduct debris removal. When we sonared these back in 2017, 2018, we found debris deposits in these areas, and we're working toward a design to install 2 access shafts to do additional cleaning. One's on the Cary Furnace site, and the other one is up along the Allegheny near the zoo. We had 8 firms submit letters of interest and statement of qualifications on January 6th. We had 5 people, 5 management staff reviewing the technical submittals and the qualifications packages. Obviously, the evaluation team was looking for experience in underground construction as well as deep shafts. There was a pretty clear delineation between the top 4 and the bottom 4 in experience and level of qualification. So those were the 4 that were recommended. Would you like me to continue the next item, or do we?
Nope, I would not. I would like you to stop right there and allow
All
them
right,
to
thank you.
take action. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, could I have a motion in a second to recommend these to the rest of the board?
So
Or
moved.
item A?
Second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, carried. All right, item B.
Yeah, the next item is our pretty much our standard cleaning contract. The only distinction is this one's rather large. It's approximately 19.6 miles of interceptor, predominantly in Turtle Creek area of our system. As the board is aware, we recently transferred 11 miles of sewers in Abers Creek and Thompson Run from the municipalities, Monroeville, Wilkins, Turtle Creek. This inspection includes CCTVing most of these transferred sewers. We received 5 firms responded to the short list. We are recommending that 3 firms be shortlisted. These firms had fairly extensive experience with NASCO, which is our grading system for pipes, as well as they had experienced inspectors to perform the work. So firms of Cosmos, DLZ, and JMT were recommended to do the work.
Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion in a second to recommend these to the rest of the board, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Great, thank you. Ayes have it. Item C.
All right,
Mike?
thank you, Madam Chair. This project is for final design for for lining approximately 3 miles of interceptor located in Bethel Park, Castle Shannon, and another mile is located in Stowe Township. And there's a section up in Upper Allegheny Interceptor System in Sharpsburg. It's about 3 miles total. We did apply for for some funding from the Commonwealth Financing Authority for this project. We did receive 8 qualification packages on this. We had, again, 5 reviewers doing the scoring. As a result of the evaluation, it was recommended to move forward with GPD, GHD, and Gannett Fleming. These particular firms had the most experience with lining projects as evaluated by staff, and also had the local presence in Allegheny County. They've done a number of projects in Allegheny County. So that was our recommendation.
Well, thank you so much. All right, hearing no questions or comments, could I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Williams, we're going to move on to item D, the shortlist for the professional service.
And Madam Chair, I need to make a correction. Blame it on my dyslexia. That should be professional appraisal services. As you-
Services, just missing one word. Okay,
They're just transposed.
okay. Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
As you have pointed out, we have a lot of interesting assets here. As interesting and unique as they are, they need to be appraised from time to time. And it is a time when that needs to happen. It has been quite some time since that was done. Unfortunately, where the market is, where the world is right now, there are just not that many entities that do this or have availability, because so many people are trying to have this done, which is understandable. I will now have the Director of Finance speak more to the service. Karen.
Thank you, Ms. Arletta. As Arletta mentioned, it is time. The last time we had a full-blown appraisal of all our assets, both here inside the fence and outside the fence, was done in the 90s. And we are really, good practice would be to have one of these done every 3-4 years. So we're a little behind. And so we really need to catch up, both from a financial reporting perspective and also, more importantly, from an insurance perspective. So if we don't know what the value of our assets are, it's really hard to get adequate insurance coverage, which we'll be talking about insurance in a little bit down the agenda. So we went out, we solicited from over 30 different companies, and we have 2 respondents that came back to us. That just speaks to the point that Arletta made, that there's just so much work in this area. And even the incumbent, the firm that did this work the last time and that updates our valuation for us each year, they did not even respond. They did not bid. Their shop is closing up. They only have 2 people currently working. So it speaks to the limited availability that we have. But we did get 2 respondents who we would like to shortlist and go back. Both of them appear that they are well qualified to do the work, and we would like to recommend that we go forward with a short list of both those entities. Any questions? I'd be happy to take them.
I don't have any questions, but as I said earlier in the meeting, how interesting it is to work at ALCOSAN, because just trying to imagine someone having to do this kind of work and try to assess a sewer regulator structure, someone to assess our scum building, and all the other things that no one else would ever think of. It's just kind of amazing. And I guess I'm not too surprised that you're having a hard time coming up with a bunch of people who are interested to come out and do these evaluations. I guess I'm not surprised. Hearing no other comments other than myself, the question, but I was in a second to approve this.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. This will be recommended to the rest of the board. All right, we're going to move on to item E, a motion to recommend the approval of the following service authorization to Wade Trim under the agreement for engineering service for an amount not to exceed $406,905 for the scope of services under the capital projects S480 for the Spring Garden Grit Management. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, the committee had previously moved Wade Trim to the board for action to award the project. You are now issuing the fee. As always, we compliment staff on their ability to effectively negotiate. Mike, if you would speak to, not to the negotiating process, but to the project itself, please.
Yeah, this project is for a grit basin in Spring Garden Run. There's a stream inflow up in Reserve Township that enters into the combined sewer along Spring Garden Road. This sewer over the years, we've seen depositions of debris at our regulator structure down near the Heinz plant at A60, and it's pretty significant. So, and similarly, we've had other experiences with Ravine Street, which was a grow project, and other areas that you Sheridan Park, where we've had stream inflows and we've had to get them out. This is no different. This is another effort to keep that sediment and debris out of the system where it enters, and prevent that from entering our deep tunnel where it's difficult to get out. So the fee was negotiated, and we feel comfortable with where we're at. Wade Trim is using collective efforts, DLZ, Monolo, and Trophy Point to support their design.
Okay, thank you. If no questions or comments, could I have a motion and a second to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. We'll move on now to item F. Motion to recommend modification of service authorization 369 for Gannett Fleming for an additional 10,000 and not to exceed an amount of 310,294 to complete the work associated with the construction management services. Rehabilitating the lower Sawmill Run interceptor. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, I appreciate how you artfully dodged your new subaqueous, because that's what the FPP is for you. I like that. Mike will speak to this and explain.
All right.
Yeah, PB. Mike.
Thank you, Arletta, Madam Chair. The lower Sawmill Run interceptor was about a $10 million project that lined the lower Sawmill Run interceptor from basically Bosman down to the Ohio River, about 3 miles of interceptor rehabilitation. Gannett Fleming's been doing a great job on the project for us. However, we were delayed in getting started on the project due to some additional permitting requirements by DEP. They also had to inspect some additional manholes along the way for rehabilitation. So, and then finally, we did receive a delay claim from the contractor that they're assisting us with. So this additional 10,000 is just basically to to help close out the project, negotiate the claim, and finish up. So we're recommending this be authorized.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Okay. So comments, so could we have a motion to approve in a second?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item G is a motion to recommend the modification services authorization for T2 utility engineers to continue their work associated with the underground utility locating services. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, as previously described to the committee by Mike, this is the underground utility services going forward to get us to the point of being able to reissue and seek additional participation.
Okay. If nothing else, have a motion in a second.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving right along to item H. To recommend the award of a contract to Street APPS to provide annual maintenance, support, and upgrades for the Finance Department's J.D. Edwards General Ledger System during a term of 3 years. This is a follow-up on the J.D. Edwards System upgrade, which was originally approved by the board in 2021. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, there are a lot of words in this motion, and it is a complicated matter. What it boils down to is for this software system, we are required to have ongoing maintenance, as with every system, whether that's our LIMS, Oracle, everything that we have. This provides for that ongoing maintenance for a 3-year period. It was initially anticipated that it would have been provided by the firm that took care of the implementation, but that did not work out, as we have witnessed both professionally and personally. Shingles have been taken down, doors have been closed and shuttered, and people are not doing business the same way they previously did. So we were able to acquire a proposal for these services from this group, who actually contains some of the same people who had participated with the original implementation. So we're very fortunate here.
And it's necessary, of course.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And if there's no more further questions or comments, I'd like to have a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's been approved. Item I is a motion to recommend the awarding of the wet weather pump station project to Brown and Caldwell, and to authorize executive director to negotiate a fee. Ms. Williams?
Madam Chair, while insurance is exciting, and we've got a great story to tell with respect to insurance, so that will definitely round out this agenda well. Even so, this item, this is the pinnacle of this agenda, and it is a high point in our program, which means despite Douglas's objections, I have to go back to Kim for an explanation. Kim, if you would.
All right, thank you. Arletta's right. We got high quality participation in this request for design qualifications. We couldn't have been happier with the competition. Back in January, the Professional Services Committee shortlisted 4 firms, and we got the proposals in March, followed up by 2 weeks later. We had 4 in-person interviews They were great. They all 4 teams brought great ideas and their A game really to the process. It was a hard evaluation. Remember, this pump station will be at the downstream end of the Ohio River Tunnel. So the Ohio River Tunnel and the wet weather pump station really need to be coordinated and brought online at the same time. And the Brown and Caldwell team really brought relevant, similar project experience and a thorough understanding of the risks and some really interesting solutions. The team has Brown and Caldwell as leadership, but they have 3 minority businesses, 3 women businesses, and a service-disabled veterans business that sort of round out the team. We all believe that the roles were appropriate and well-defined, and we look forward to negotiating with them over the next month or so and coming back probably in June, hopefully, and getting this thing started in July, because we need to bid it at the end of next year, the 4th quarter of 2024, in order to line it up with the Ohio River Tunnel and stay on schedule.
Okay, thank you. All right, could I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. Item J is a motion to recommend the acceptance of proposals as recommended by the authority's risk manager to provide insurance coverage to ALCOSAN for the period of May 16th, 2023 through May 16th, 2024 at a total premium of $1,788,900. $1,788,975. Okay, Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, we do indeed have an extremely good story to tell here with all of the chaos, not just locally, not just nationally, but worldwide. Everybody has seen the impacts on insurance, on premiums, on coverage. We are no different here. This is our big renewal year, which takes place every 3 years. I can't thank our finance folks, the engineers both within engineering and construction and regional conveyance, and our operations and maintenance teams for just coming together to provide the necessary information that then allowed our in-house guy, James Rettinger, to do his thing, working with our risk management consultant, and Mark McCall, representing our risk management consultant, is here to go over the results of that massive effort. Mark?
Thank you very much, Arletta, Madam Chair. You're right. This has been a daunting task in a very difficult marketplace. The insurance industry just came out with their statistics for year-end 22, losing almost $27 billion in revenue. It seems these days we don't have light storms or, light winds. It's hurricanes and wildfires that have transpired. And I will tell you, being in this industry for 35 years, I am so fortunate to be involved with the ALCOSAN team. I've never seen a team come together as hard and cohesive as through this process. Arlette, I know you mentioned, a few of the individuals, but Doug Jackson, Michelle Buys, Suzanne Thomas, as part of the procurement team, involvement with the RFQ process to, align and coordinate everything. Karen Fantoni and your work and support throughout this process. And the one name that you did bring up, James Reitlinger, just tireless hours. This was a 10-month project that we began in July of 22, and to get to this point, it's been absolutely wonderful. Madam Chair, I know you may have seen my face, year over year, at least once a year through this process. But, my background, again, 35 years in this business, for those that don't know me, I started my career on the insurance carrier side, worked for Travelers. So I was the underwriting manager for Chubb Insurance. And then in 2001 came over onto the insurance brokerage and consulting side. My involvement in this process was really this year to help and assist Suzanne Thomas in the development of the RFQ to get out into the marketplace, to create operational summaries, bid specifications, assistance with broker selection. We're very pleased with the response on the RFQ that procurement did put out. We received 10 responses from brokers in the Pittsburgh area, both regional, national, global brokers. And at the end of the day, 6 made the short list. Of those 6, we were very pleased that we received proposals working with 60 different insurance carriers. Now, it's a daunting number in today's day and age, but we received proposals back from 24 of those insurance carriers with 6 of those brokers. And again, I want to reiterate that not only local brokers, that were involved, regional brokers, and also global brokers. And the one that you see recommended, Willis Towers Watson, they are a global insurance broker. They came to really help out help ALCOSAN out on the property side. And once we received all the proposals in, we spreadsheeted, reviewed terms, conditions, required all the individual policies. It was, I think, a wonderful success. The original budget when we started this process back in July was a little over $2 million, $2,044,000. And we were very pleased to come under, $255,000 under budget. And to say in this market, we're seeing carriers escalating rates and premiums just double digits. And to say that at the end of the day, the entire insurance program has come over 1.9% over expiring is a real success. A lot of movement will be happening this year with brokers, with insurance carriers as a result of this. But truly a big success.
Well done. Well done.
It's very obvious the kind of hard work that went into this, having, hearing this every 3 years or so, and knowing what the market is, as you both have already expressed. This is pretty amazing what you've come up with for this year, for our next 3 years.
Well,
It was a team effort. It was definitely a team effort.
Yeah, but the team worked very well, very hard. It's obvious. All right, I have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All these action items will be recommended to the full board when we meet later this month, which is what this week. Right, folks, I don't see any new business. Our next professional services committee meeting is May 9th. Ms. Williams, do you have any last words today?
Peace be with you.
And also with you.
There you go.
All right, also with all of you. All right, everybody have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you all for
everyone.
your hard work.
Yes, nice work, guys.